I won't back down.
Anyone here?
You're gonna sing with me. I woke up with a sore throat, no voice. I woke up with a sore throat, no voice. You need to sing with me. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I worked for all my life, and I had to start again without my children and my wife. We started, thank my lucky stars, to be living here today. 'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Take the conversation outside. That the man who died gave that right to me, and I'm gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee. Lakes of Minnesota, here we go. From the lakes of Minnesota, hills of Tennessee, to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea to shining sea in Detroit, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart. It's time we stand up and say, hey. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'm gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. If you're so inclined, stand up. We're gonna march. Stand up. And I'm proud to be an American, but at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Good morning, Trisha. Yeah. How you feeling? A little better.
Good.
That was beautiful.
We haven't even started. This is wonderful. Is anybody in the room? No. Good. Stand by the door. Someone shoo him in here. Get him in here. Because they're going to miss $100 door prize in cash. Anybody want that? Yeah. You think I'm kidding? No, I'm not. I have $100 in cash. We're going to start in a minute or two.
Okay.
Is Mr. Vail in the room? Or the here though? Logan in the room? Tell him, the convention starts in 30 seconds. National Federation of Blind 42nd Annual Convention, Live the Life You Want, is now called to order.
My sisters, we are the blind and we have bonded together. We have built a legacy of hope and determination. We work today with love and commitment, and we welcome tomorrow with faith and imagination. We have learned our value and we will not give it back. We have taught each other to explore the limits, and we have not found the boundaries. We have cultivated the power of collective action, and we will not release the bond of hope. Let us shine our value. Let us live the lives we want, and let us go build the National Federation of the Blind.
Get ready to sing. Live the life you want. Sing with me, please. Here we go. Live the life you want. Nobody can stop you. Shoot for the sun and break on through. So you're blind, you'll be fine. We've got good news. Live the life you want. Yes, we know the truth. Grab a cake and train. Gotta get moving. I can hear you. Change the wage. That's what we're doing.
Guys, just be careful of the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. Live the life you want. Nobody can stop you. Shoot for the sun and break on through. So you're blind, you'll be fine. We got good news. Live the life you want. Yes, we know the truth. Let's work together. You and me, lives on forever. Come with me. Here we go. Live the life you want. Nobody can stop you. Shoot for the sun. Break on through. So you're blind. So you're blind. You'll be fine. We got good news. Life. Live the life you want. Yes, we know the truth. Thank you very much.
It's time for a door prize. $100 in cash and one of our beautiful decorative vintage wine glasses.
Still trying to get rid of it.
Okay. All right, call a name out there, V. Oh, she'll be here tonight, haha. That's Ann's sister, haha. I show compassion, don't I? Get Those door prize tickets ready. David Mostella's in the room.
They'll bring it to you.
That the $100 in cash was donated by the Garden State Chapter, $50, and the other $50 came from Rick and Debbie in honor of Rebecca Bryant, the cancer president.
Janet? Oh, there's seats next to me on my. Oh, not here.
It's now time for the invocation. Yesterday was a day filled with excitement, energy, and enthusiasm. Today will also be that. But at this time, we separate. Shabbat for Jews is that time, and for other religions, the same. This happens to fall exactly on Shabbat for me, and is especially meaningful. At this time, I ask you to dig deep in your hearts. If you could please not talk at the table, I would appreciate that. This is the invocation. I know you're getting gifts ready, but this is important. Okay. Sorry. This is the time we need to take one big breath and separate into that sacred space that lives in every living being, the spark of holiness. From last year to this, we've lost some people. They're not with us here. They're here somewhere else in our hearts, our minds, our souls. And so for the NFB family and your family, we remember with reverence and honor Gary Lemberg, Ed Laterra, Amma Musharraf, Rebecca Irvin Bryant. Oh Adonai, we ask that we have enough strength to get through these times. We ask for just enough. God grant us health enough to perform our daily tasks, wealth enough to answer our needs, compassion enough to feel the needs of others, courage enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears of the future, and faith enough to feel your presence. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake to morning's light. Teach us wrong from right. Amen. 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 Adonai. Amen.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is to my right, it's to your left. Hands on heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Ken will lead us, and everyone should know this, but Ken will lead us in the NFB pledge. Ken, can you just yell it out?
Please. I pledge
To participate actively in the efforts of the National Federation of the Blind, to achieve equality, opportunity, and security for the blind, support the policies and programs of the Federation, and to abide by the Constitution. Thank you. This coming Sunday, you can be seated. This coming Sunday will mark the 100th anniversary of the war to end all wars. November 11th, 11 a.m., treaty was signed. War still continues. It's the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us the freedom of religion. It's the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of press. It's the veteran, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. It's the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us the right to listen. It's the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It's the veteran who honors the flag, veteran who serves under the flag. No matter where they serve, God bless them all. God bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairies, to the ocean, wide with love. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with love. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet. Listen to this last note. God bless America.
Let's get a door prize for that.
President Buffalo, I have an impromptu trivia question regarding the signing of the treaty that ended the war to end all wars.
Who are you?
I'm David Mostello. The question
I'll let you do it, Dave, again. We
Okay.
just finished, okay.
What is unique about the Treaty of Versailles, which ended World War I?
We didn't sign it.
It's puffs but no cigar.
America never ratified it.
That's correct.
That's right. Good going, Ken.
Thank you.
Can you repeat that so
We're gonna repeat it later.
Okay. I didn't hear very yet.
That's okay. Get a door prize ready.
Who needs the door?
Jerry, you're a real sport.
Thank you, please.
Those in the back of the room, come on up forward. Join the group. Be part of the family. It'll cut the conversation back there and you'll hear us better. It's pretty full. Oh, great. Wonderful.
We are family, folks.
Do you have a winner? Okay. Let's do one more, and then Matt, you can make an announcement back there.
Okay.
Okay, one more. Get these door prizes ready to roll. Pull the tickets ahead of time. Let's go.
Okay.
Misty Hagan. Will the scholarship recipients come forward along with Emery Cook? We get the scholarship, we're going to stand in front of the podium, I guess. Instead of going back here. Before I turn it over to Emery, we are streaming today. So tell your friends, and we are doing stuff, a lot of things on Facebook. So take a look at it, send it to your friends. We have to promote what we do. We do a great job. We don't promote enough of it. We know we do a great job because you're here. We know we do a great job because of all the excitement. We've got to let everybody else know that we're here. So with all that, they're going to know that right now Emery Cook, who is chairing today's scholarship presentation.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Emery. You hear how full the room is. This is a great way to really get started this morning because in front of you are 5 of the most confident, smartest, funniest, blind young people I ever have met. And I'm really, really so excited to be kind of the border collie herding them periodically. So their directions for this morning are to give a 90-minute snapshot of themselves, about them, their name, where they're from. 90 seconds. My name will drop. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for paying attention. Just checking. Okay, so who's in front of me? Alba here? Alba, is that you? Okay. So first, Alba Miller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I'm Alba Miller. I'm 29 years old, and I'm currently attending KU University. I'm a junior student, and my major is recreational therapy, and I am a single mom as well, and a full-time student. And I am originally from South America.
Hello, can everyone hear me? All right, good. All right, so my name is Jonathan Silvack. I'm a junior now at the College of New Jersey in Ewing. I'm studying communications. I one day do hope to work with blind and visually impaired, but I'm not sure what specific field yet. Either counseling or orientational ability. As much as I enjoy assistive technology, I don't have a computer science mind for it. And, yeah, right now, school's in Ewing, so I live there most of the year, but originally I'm from Kenilworth.
Yay, come on.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Connor Mullen, and I am originally from Morris County, although my heart's in Middlesex.
Yay, Connor!
And, I am now attending Louisiana Tech University as affiliated with the Louisiana Center for the Blind for my master's in orientation and mobility instruction. And I am also trying to really get back into drumming. I'm a jazz trained drummer and bassist, so really trying to get some music on the plate. Kind of hard because I'm not near New Orleans, but trying my best, and definitely have been taking advantage of some of that back here. So I'm really happy to be here at the convention, and I just want to thank Joe, Anne Marie, and the entire scholarship committee for allowing this to happen and for me to be here. So thank you so much.
Yay, Connor!
Hello, everyone. I'm Darren. I'm a freshman student at the College of New Jersey. Special education and women and gender studies major.
Yay!
And I'm originally from Wharton, New Jersey. It's in actually Morris County. But obviously I'm in Ewing more because that's where school is. What else?
Congratulations!
Good morning. I'm Lauren Boyle. I'm from Wall Township, New Jersey. I've been living with blind since I was about 3 years old. So I've been working with it to become more confident. And I haven't had a lot of people properly accommodate me. So now I'm a freshman at the University of James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and I'm a vocal performance major. Thank you for having me here today. I'm excited to be here. Everybody, let's have one more round of applause for
Not only are they going to get a financial support from this organization, I hope the students take away from this weekend the gift of the National Federation of the Blind. The goals you will set through your imagination, through the foundation of the Federation, and with your talents. That spells gift. We give you our time. We give you our energy. We give you our support. And we hope you do the same to us. You are the next generation of leaders. You are the next generation of those who will look up to you. When it's time for you to pass the torch, they'll be given to you. So let's hear a nice round of applause for our scholarship winners. Now, good day for the report. Mac, you're up next. Door prize. Someone said it's free tuition. No, someone said it. It's not. No, wait, no. Whoa, Lauren.
Anyway, so our door prize is a hot apple
alcoholic. No.
Alright, so back here at the pack table, we got some forms so you guys can come sign up for the pre-authorized contribution program. If you increase your plan, we have a selection of some candy bars that you can get. If you start a patch plan or increase over $5, we have some certificates like $35 haircut. We have the coffee and a few other different items. Back here at the pack table.
I pledge to participate actively in the National Federation of the Blind to support equality, opportunity, and security for the blind, to support the programs and policies of the Federation, and to abide by its Constitution. I come before you today in honor of everyone here who have given me the honor to be your president for the past 25 years.
Are you?
Rowdy bunch, rowdy bunch. Find my spot again, thank you for that. But I've served as your president for 25 years. And for every one of those days, well, I like to say I enjoyed every one of them, and I can. I can. My job is to educate, motivate, and aggravate. Now, I continue to educate myself before I can educate others. I continue to motivate myself before I can motivate others. And I will try not to aggravate as I've done in the past. I'm only kidding about that one. Definition of aggravate is give you information to inspire you to raise your expectations to live the life you want. So I'll continue to aggravate you so you can transform your dreams into reality. You've heard this before if you read your emails through the bottom. We care, we share, we grow, we make a difference. So powerful. We care for each other as others care for our family. We share ideas, our thoughts, our ideas, comments with each other. We grow as a person, and we grow as a person in the Federation. And working together, we can and do make a difference. I mentioned 25 years as your president. My wife has been your first lady for those 25 years. Judy, thank you. We've been married for over 40 years, and people say, how did you do it, Judy? Now, see, when I tell jokes, nobody laughs. When I say that, people laugh. You'll get comments later. But we've been together for over 40 years, and we can't do this. Let me rephrase that. We can do what we can do up here, of course. But without family support, without family helping you along the way, encouraging you all the way, it's a difficult task. This job, this volunteer job, is a job. Our pay has been the same since the first day we walked in the door. I always give out big raises every year. I say, next year, Carol, Linda, Jane, I'm going to double your pay. From 0 to 2 zeros to 3 zeros. Carol's up to 30-something zeros right now. But we do it for you. This is not a I organization. It's a we organization. I also want to thank my sons, Jim and Joe, and their wives, Bettina and Kelly. For also their time, effort, and support, and also being volunteering what to do. Or volunteering. This is our 42nd state convention, and I've been, again, honored to be in front of you for the 25th time. I have stated this before, and the more I state it, the more it becomes a reality to me. This will be my last term as your president. I'll be elected hopefully on Sunday. And in 2020, what a perfect year to step down. 2020 vision. Perfect year to step down. But I'm not going anywhere. I'll tell you, me and Linda will probably switch places and I'll be aggravating out there. I got a little chuckle. That's good. No, I don't believe it. This organization was founded in 1940s, most of you know. Jacobus Tenbrook, 7 others, said it's time we do what we need to do to move ourselves out of the bondage of second-class citizenship to first-class citizenship. The difference between you and the sighted world is perhaps eyesight, not your vision. I love when people say, Joe, how long have you lost your vision? I tell them I haven't lost my vision. I've lost my eyesight. I haven't lost my vision. So just remember that. It's one of our senses, one of our 7 senses. 7, you say? 7. Everyone knows the 5. The 6th sense is a sense of humor.
You're gonna have that already.
This is supposed to be a president's report here. But it wouldn't be anything without that from the peanut gallery. I'll read the 7 cents later so you can figure it out. So, sense of humor is key. As I said, Jacobus Tenbrook gave his time, resources to build this organization. He passed the torch to a young man by the name of Kenneth Jernigan. Norman, first name is correct. Who then passed it on to Mark Maurer, who has now passed it on to Margaret Gabono. As I stated yesterday, this is the 20th anniversary of the passing of Dr. Jernigan. Please read his books, his articles, Colonel books. You can learn so much of a man who gave up his time also. Now, I would love to have a nickel for every hour he spent time, any of our presidents, doing what they do for us. And what did we have done to help them? Hopefully we give the gift of the Federation to others. Just a question for a moment. Think about this answer. How did you get introduced to the National Federation of the Blind? I'll answer it. See if it matches yours. Someone invited me. And I'm here. Spending my time, money to be here. Why are you here today? I'm here today to teach and learn and teach. That's what we're here for. So with a round of applause for a moment, how many people are here because someone invited you to come to an NFB event? the next question is, how many of you are sharing the gift of the fellowship to others? We can't keep this a secret. We need the world to know who we are, what we are, and what it means to us to be free. I was going to ask 2 questions now about Kenneth Jernigan, but we did that last night. But I'll just give you one. Dr. Jernigan received many honorary doctorates. The first one was from a university in New Jersey. So you have to name the university. And who was the professor at that university that got it done?
I know it, Joe.
I know Rick knows it. Get Rick.
It's Seton Hall.
Seton Hall University.
And the professor who made it possible was Dr. Edwin Lewis.
You got it. Very good. Just for that, Rick, you get a pretzel later.
Expended.
We keep learning. If we don't learn from previous generations, we don't move forward. Everything just stops. Kenneth Jernigan's philosophy is my philosophy. I hope it's yours. Respect the work of others.
Yeah.
Teach them honesty of purpose. Ground one's efforts with a proper philosophy. So your staff will work with you and not for you. And you direct your work towards a common goal. That is the keystone of what you want to build. Always focus on the objective. Very important. In leadership positions on the state this year, we will have many changes. We have 4 or 5 different positions are being moved around or changed. There's been several changes on our chapters and divisions this year. Doesn't mean anybody did a bad job, it means you did a great job. Did a super job. And now we can use your talents elsewhere and move someone else to a, quote, leadership role with a title after it. And the most important title after my name, most people say it's president. Well, it's an important title. Member of the National Board, important title. Most important title after my name is member. Member. You don't have to be on a board to roll up your sleeves and do the work. You don't have to be on the board to make phone calls. You don't have to be on the board to do a presentation. You need to be a member who believes in our organization. It's not about me, it's not about you, it's about us. Very important. When Halloween just passed the other day, correct? It was a couple days ago? Yeah. All right, very good. I'm sure some of you got a lot of candy. Yep. Oh, that's wonderful. Anybody had any extra almond joys? All right, we'll go on. But if you look through your kids' bags or whatever, go to the store, you have this stuff on sale now. Every time you look at an M&M, we have an M&M sale going on back there or whatever, please guess the M&M's in a jar and go to your dentist. But every time you eat an M&M, I do this. I think I'm crazy, and I am. Maybe you want to be crazy too. Every time you eat an M&M, M&M, what does that stand for? Money and members. How can I raise more money for this organization? Where can I find new people to become members? Someone said, well, Joe, what about motivation? So then you go buy a roll of Scotch tape from the 3M company, and you can do your 3 M's, money, membership, and motivation. That's fine. But for this today, we're going to do M&Ms. Just think of it. How can we raise money? Where can we get the money from? We'll hear a report tomorrow, but this is so important that I want to share something with you. And I hope I embarrass her a little bit, just slightly, so I can get a hug from her later. Everyone is important to this organization. Ellen Sullivan new to our affiliate, not new to the Federation, has moved from Delaware to New Jersey. She moved in, I think, in February. We talked on the phone. She says, Joe, let me just get settled in. I think I just want to do that large for a while and feel my way around and see what happens after that. Sure, no problem. Well, and a week or two later, I said, and I know she was secretary in Delaware, other things too. I think I had to take some minutes, and with the I would say 24 hours, 24 minutes later, the minutes are in my inbox. I'm not waiting. She may want to wait, but this is too good to be true. So within less than 3 or 4 weeks, we invited her to a membership leadership building at Joseph Cohn Training Center for the day. 39 of us were there. Who in this room were at that leadership that day? And Mary Fernandez was in charge of it. In fact, she said, Joe, we need a leadership conference. I said, oh, you think we do? Yeah, over the phone is good. We need face to face. We need to find out what the real goals are from our members. Well, I think I know them. I think you know them. Yeah, but we need a face-to-face meeting. I don't know if we can do this, Mary. All time in my head, she's doing it. So I said, Mary, we have to figure out who can do this. I'm pretty busy right now, and doing it in late March may not work. Joe, we have to do this, and I want to do it. Good, you're doing it. And she did a great job. So let's give her a round of applause for Mary. She's at Duke University, getting her master's degree in business administration. She may be watching us today. So, I'm glad you did that. So we did this leadership conference. We broke it into 6 groups. And lo and behold, Ellen Sullivan was in group number 2. Now, what does that mean? The fundraising group. She said she likes to fundraise. What a coincidence, she had that group. She hit the ground and she took off. We've talked on the phone. She had some great ideas. Go for it. Well, she sent her first or second grant out, and we don't get a grant every time you write it. Belgian Loan Foundation for this convention, and for Bell, a total of $5,000. Amen. 2,500 for each Bell and $2,500 to help us with this convention. And she said, I want to write another one. Go right ahead. And she did. And we went to the cocktail party and we presented the paperwork and we knew we were getting the grant. We knew what it was for. And lo and behold, another $5,000 grant for Bell for this year. It was a nice little cocktail party, meet everybody and take their pictures. And one of the waiters, Antonio, I don't know if the waiter there, of course, was my name was 2 seconds. Joe, would you like to try some of these meatballs? Sure. So that's true. Trish loves meatballs. Trish loves my meatballs. This is true. These were delicious. They're so tiny. I could eat like 14,000 of them. They're tiny. You came by again. You want this, that, something. Those meatballs were great. So you want me back some more meatballs. We get home. Kelly drove us. My daughter drove us there. Came home. Dad, how'd you like those meatless meatballs? What do you mean meat? I was saying I gotta get this recipe. This is outstanding. I made pretty good meatballs, but this was like, wow. It was meatless. What are you talking about meatless? They were made out of soy. And they were delicious. They really were. They were delicious. So you never know. The reason why I tell that story is don't be afraid to try something. That's the key. So Ellen, thank you. And you heard yesterday too, Ellen and we worked on a grant for the Fund for New Jersey Blind. We were seeking a $4,000 grant to help us with some transportation to get us down to Baltimore around the .6 event. Well, we got notification, yesterday. We did not receive $4,000. We received $2,000, which is wonderful. So we got some seat money. And I'm sure Linda is already working on an action plan. I know that. It's done. Well, just let me go over a couple quick things here, because I know I don't want to run out of time to say what I want to say. I'm going to say what I want to say because I want to say what I want to say. If you don't want to say it, don't say it. But I'm going to say it anyway. Last year's convention to this year's convention. Last year we were in Manahawkin. We had a great time down there, great staff. But how do you like the staff here? Do you think I should try to negotiate a contract for next year here? Well, the hotel rate is approaching on that too. So we had a meeting here not too long ago, and we were mentioning that Matt, you probably have met a few times. We're talking about his boss was sitting next to him, and he said, "Joe, anytime you're ready to sign next year's contract, we're ready to do it." Well, here's what we need to do. Seriously. We need to be here for a year for this convention, and you'll have your meeting about us. We'll have our meeting about you, and then we'll get together and talk. But I know we've got to come up with a mutual agreement that's going to be beneficial to both. I said to his boss, I said, off the record, Matt offered us rooms here next year for $9 a night, and banquet for $5. And she said, well, here's the door, Matt. Doormat.
Humor.
So, especially this year, tell me if this affiliate chapters and members are not on the move. In December, we always have our last quarterly conference call of the year. We wish everybody well. And it's kind of like an off month. We start planning for the Washington seminar right after Thanksgiving or so. In January, the first Saturday in January is always our after the holidays party at the Knights of Columbus in Belleville. Great crowd, good music, good food. So we celebrate the previous holidays because you can't do it in December. Everybody's busy in December. So we do it in January. Santa Claus does make it there. He always comes. He's headed for Florida that weekend, but we get him to come. We get Santa to come. So Santa's there in January. At the end of the month, we bring 10, 12, 14 of us now to Washington Seminar, where we entertain our congressmen and our senators with issues that are important to us. Ryan on Sunday will talk about some of the issues. I'll just highlight it. The space available, passed. Marrakesh Treaty, passed. And you'll hear Carla talk about that a little bit later. So it's your efforts that make this stuff happen. So that's what we did in January. February, we were preparing, writing our letters. That's why we got these things passed. It's not just January. See, the Washington Seminar is an hors d'oeuvre to the legislative season. See, New Jersey, Carl, everything relates to food. So with that in mind, it was our hors d'oeuvre. And we do our letters. In March, I mentioned about Mary setting up the program in March. April, May, and June, fundraising went on. Grocery stores, Five Guy Pizzeria, Friendlies, getting money. And then we need to do, it's nice to get money, but then we need a goal and a purpose why we want this money. So that was April, May, and June. July, something happened in July in Orlando. I forgot what it was. Oh, the National Convention. That's right. Who has gone, just listen carefully, who has gone to any national convention? Say aye. Aye. Who has not? Say aye. Aye. All right, get those first timers there and get it done. How many people here for the first time at any state convention at all in New Jersey? This is your first time. Yell it out loud. Great. Now we have a lot of first timers here. How many here are two timers? A lot of two timers here. A lot. One at the podium. Wait. July was our national convention. Got to save your nickels and dimes. Write those scholarship to the Jernigan Scholarship Fund. It will change your life. You'll hear a report about that later in the day. Then later in July, we had our 5th annual Bell Academy at the Puerto Rican Association of Human Development. And we've had several different directors, national directors, all great. The last one we had, I guess still have, you may know her, you may not know her. There's this name, Carla McQuillan. That's her. I like you, Carla. She guided us through phone calls, through emails, through a little kick in the butt. We got it done. Thank you, Carla, for your guidance. Thank you. August, many of them went surfing, beach days, some went on cruises. That was me and Judy for our anniversary. And she rented, listen to this, the third day there, she rented a gangplank. But no, she rented a gangplank, but didn't have any on board that day. So that was August. September, we start rolling up our sleeves. Actually, in July and August, we start preparing for the convention, really prepare. People ask, Joe, when do you start preparing for the next year's convention? I said, it ends at noon, 12:01. We're preparing for next year. We really are. Someone give me honor, Joyce. Nice. Anyway.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
So we start preparing our convention really in July, writing letters to our vendors, calling our vendors, writing letters to our vendors, and they all say, Joey, I never got your email. Can you send me another email? It's, where are you now? I'm in front of my computer. It's coming in 2 seconds. 3 days later, I didn't get your email. And you know they got it. But we keep pestering them. Because I can aggravate. I aggravate well. How many people were in the exhibit room this year and enjoyed it? I was in there 2 or 3 times. The place was packed. I think it was packed so you get your cards. Try to win a prize. But that's good that you're in there. It makes everybody feel good that they're spending their money there too, which is great. So we do that. Carol Castellano has begged me every year to have, she wants to do the agenda every year in the pre-registration form. In fact, she calls me for her vacation. Joe, when are we going to do this? I'm going to take a day away from the beach to do this. No, I always let her. It's funny, right, Carol? I call like, Carol, when are you going on vacation? She tells me when she's going. So I plan it out. We call it 3 days before and 1 day after. But we get it done. It's a teamwork. So, Carol, thank you for your time and patience and doing the agenda. We had a great team this year. We had Linda on the team and Mary Jo and Jane with the agenda. As you noticed yesterday, Thursday and Friday, I took a back seat to some of the stuff. I didn't need to be up there. Jane ran a great Thursday event. Great Thursday event.
Yay!
And yesterday afternoon, when we got into the meat potatoes of the, again, food, meat potatoes, we got into the meat potatoes of it all at 3:15 or 2:15, I guess it was, with New Jersey Transit, and then the panel that came after that. I took a back seat. I let Linda run it and Jane. They did a great job. It's called transition. That's what it's called, transition. So there's a lot of work going into the convention, as you can see, a lot of last minute things. Even though you have everything down perfectly, there's a glitch here, but you work through it, and we're here. I had laryngitis last week. I heard through the grapevine, my board took a vote that they all were supposed to call me each day and ask me any question they wanted so I could lose my voice, so I could speak well. But you lost. So, getting back to the agenda, was it meaningful to you so far?
Yes.
Did you learn a lot? Are you going to share with other people?
Yes.
Today is a huge morning, big afternoon. Tonight the banquet's going to be splendid. So I'm glad you're here. So getting us through all that and getting it through today, we have to realize that this is our organization. It's not mine. I've had people come up to me, Joe, your convention was great. I said, no, it wasn't. What do you mean? It's not my convention, it's our convention. It's our convention. Some of the items on that agenda They're not my ideas. I got them from you guys. Joe, can we have someone talk about whatever? We've been trying to get New Jersey Transit here for 2 years. They used to come, and then they stopped coming. Their excuses were great. The best one was their bus broke down. Come on, I can't think of it. Come on. But they did come for 2 years. And okay, so we wanted them here. We had a resolution that we've been working on. Last night's meeting, we decided not to do the resolution because what they promised was everything that we wanted in that resolution. So why pass a resolution? Let them do it, and if they don't do it, watch out. We'll be there. So I want to thank Linda. Melinda, she took on it. I said, Linda, she said, Joe, we need transit there. Linda, I tried 2 years in a row. I'll try again. No, I'm doing it. I'll try. Which is what I wanted her to do. You see? I do the old Huckleberry Finn type sort of stuff. And it works. But she took it on herself. She went to the transit meetings, got onto their board, started talking to some people. I heard from people, when she walks in the room, they shut her. Because she's a can-do person. A lot of boards like that love people to come in. They need Johnny Jones to the board. He's all happy. He just sits there with his hands folded and leaves. They like that guy. But let's elect him again. So Linda has a 2-year term. It might be her first and only term. But she's there. So that's who we are. That's what we do. It is our organization. The National Federation of the Blind. You've heard me say this so many times. Let's say it together. NFB means never felt better. So in summary, let me give you my final thoughts of this year. We're going to work together to make a difference. We are the National Federation of the Blind. We're here. We are going to do what we need to do because there ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Sit break. Everybody get up and dance. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Move it. No stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. But now it looks like I'm living around. I know you got a long way to go. Get that training. I don't know. There's your orientation and ability training. Technology. The best training you have is training your mind, heart, and soul. That you are respectful. It's respectful of these lines. Confident who you are. Nothing. We have a federation. National Federation. Everybody come in. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We got to move. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Believe in yourself. As this organization, which makes its members believe that they believe in myself. Look into your heart and soul and mind. And do what you want to do. You have the National Federation of the Blind. Love you all. Have a great convention. door prize. Let's do a door prize.
Door prize, door prize.
The door, I don't know if you know this or not, but I wrote a joke book. It's 1 page long. Door prize. First timer. Wait, he's gonna know everybody later on. Okay. Let me introduce you to our national representative, Carla McClellan. I've known Carla for a number of years. Met her many years ago. Could have been Detroit, 94, 95, somewhere. Yeah, 94 was Detroit. And I heard this announcement that this young lady, no,
I was
this young lady was going to do some Irish folk song. I'm a full-blooded Italian. I love Irish music. I do. I really do. So we went, and once I learned all the songs, every year we come in and not heckle her, but yell out the songs, and she'd do them. You heard her sing that song last night? Yeah. But she does more than sing songs. She does more than that. She's an educator, a motivator. Her husband may say she aggravates too, I'm not sure about that. But she's a great lady. She serves on our national board. She's a two-timer on our national board. She served and then stepped off for business reasons and things, and then she's back on, which is great. And she's been president of Oregon. Oregon. Now she's Oregon. I go, the or is gone. Oregon. All right, I've been. Let me try my New York accent. Oregon. That's close enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you the call to call.
In Oregon, and it's Oregon, we have a rule. If your name is called for a door prize and you don't act sufficiently happy to have received it, we give it to someone else. So I didn't say anything yesterday, but I'm letting you guys know. You gotta jump up and down, you gotta hoop and holler, or we'll drum the thing. There you go. Thank you, Louis. Awesome. Okay. So, wow, hard to follow Joe on that. Yeah, I've known Joe for a long time, and it's been such a pleasure. It's great to be here in New Jersey for my first time at a New Jersey State Convention. This is great. So I bring greetings from President Riccone, who of course would love to come to every state convention, but obviously that's not possible. I think there's 5 or 6 other conventions going on this very weekend. And President Riccobono wants to let everybody know that he wants to hear from you, and he really does mean it. You have ideas, he wants to know about it. If there's suggestions, if you've got stuff going on in your chapter that's new and unique, he wants to know about it. Send him a quick email, officeofthepresident@nfb.org. Dr. Maurer, our former national president, wants everyone to know that he is still very actively involved in the organization, mostly doing legal work, which is, of course, he's a lawyer and something he enjoys doing tremendously. So he's stepped aside, not back. All right. So where are we not going to be next July? Orlando! And those of us from the West Coast are grateful for this change of venue. Where are we going to be? Las Vegas, baby! All right, and what dates? Anybody know the dates?
July
7th through the 12th at the Mandalay Bay. Mandalay Bay Hotel has an indoor sandy beach, kind of a pool thing. I don't know if it's indoor, but anyway, full sandy beach, huge beach pool right there in Las Vegas. So it's going to be a great time. As Joe said, start saving your money now. Not for the gambling. Do you know this will be the first time the National Federation of the Blind has ever held a convention in Las Vegas?
Wow.
First time. Rumors have it that Dr. Jernigan said we would never hold a convention in Las Vegas because he was concerned that people would be in the halls gambling. Well, when the suggestion of Las Vegas came up, John Bergeron tells me that Mrs. Jernigan didn't say a word. So I don't know. Now, Oregon has some Native American gaming casinos, and we've held conventions at casinos, and I am here to tell you, I did not see absence in our convention halls. Our people were dedicated. Now, when sessions were over, many of them went to the gambling casinos, but they were there for our sessions because the National Federation of the Blind and what we do is important to them, as it is to you. So I trust that all of you will be in your seats during convention sessions, and what you do at night is up to you, right? All right, so there's so many great things going on in this organization, and I'm sure a lot of you know a lot about everything. I wanted to touch quickly, we had a great presentation on Newsline yesterday from Janie, and I wanted to add one little thing that I didn't catch, and if she said it, my apologies, but one of the things that we're working on for NFB Newsline is the KNFB Reader will become a part of the app for free. So it will not have all of the features of the full-on KNFB Reader, if any of you have it, but it will do the point, click, and read. All right, so something that's coming up in the future, don't know just when, but that is in the works. All right, so this last summer, the end of July, after convention, there were a group of federationists who met in Reno, Nevada. Does anybody know why? Ooh, really? Thank you, Joe. NAC. You guys remember NAC?
Oh, yeah.
National Accreditation Council for Agencies Serving the Blind and Visually Impaired. So, a little bit of history. How many of you went NAC tracking back in the 70s, 80s, 90s?
No.
Yeah.
Wow, few. I went on one NAC tracking, I believe it was in the year 2000 in Tampa, Florida. So the brief history on NAC is that this was an agency, an accreditation entity that was originally funded by the U.S. Department of Education, the American Foundation for the Blind, and they decided that they were the ones who could determine which schools for the blind, agencies for the blind, any entity that provided services for blind people, they were the ones who were going to say, yes, this entity should continue on. We give them our stamp of approval. Except that they didn't involve the organized blind in what that meant. So we protested NAC, and go back and look at the record. There are some horror stories about agencies that were accredited by NAC, deaths of children in schools for the blind, and it was just horrible. And they even admitted that the entity they were accrediting, in order to receive their accreditation, did not actually have to follow all of the guidelines and criteria for accreditation. They just had to want to, right? So they collected money and they gave approval, and the National Federation of the Blind, all but killed NAC. And it kind of went away, and it only was accrediting a few entities in the early 2000s. The U.S. Department of Education dropped their financial support because it was not doing what it needed to be done. And this was all the result of the National Federation of the Blind. Well, last year, the AER, the Association for the Education and Rehabilitation of the Blind and Visually Impaired, decided to take over NAC. And despite assurances that the National Federation of the Blind would be involved in any recreation of this entity, we repeatedly, President Riccobono requested an audience with the higher-ups in AER who, yeah, we'll talk to you, and then made decisions without involving us. Oh, they wanted to give us one token seat on their advisory board, right?
So we went to the National AER Conference the end of July, which was in Reno, Nevada. And there was a group of, I'm going to say probably 20 Federationists from around the country. Everett Bacon from Utah was, was spearheading this. And by the way, oh my gosh, so we're in the exhibit hall. We got an exhibit table, and we have this little blurb written up about how the National Federation of the Blind is not opposed to accreditation. We just want to be involved in something that deals with blind people, right? So nothing about us without us, right? Okay, we're in the exhibit hall. Everett Bacon knows everybody. Everybody who walked by, Everett knows him. He's glad hand, and it was fabulous. So instead of doing the protest fashion like we did in the NAC tracking days, big signs and chanting and marching, no, we walked up and chatted with individual members of AER. Now, because all of this stuff happened, 3 decades ago, the heart of it, most of these teachers had no idea no notion of why NAC was bad. So the reaction we got from a lot of the people at the conference was, we're so glad you're here, you should come every year. We need involvement, yes, we need involvement from the organized blind. We're glad to see you guys here. How come you haven't been around before? Right? Now, there were a few, mostly older people, who were, it was like they had garlic around their neck to keep us away. They would run when they saw us coming. But we planted ourselves outside of meetings and handed out our little flyers to everybody. We had them in print and braille. And introduced Brent Petron from Colorado, introduced a resolution essentially saying, yeah, if you're going to do this, you can't do it without involving the organized blind. The resolution was ambushed. Someone offered a counter resolution without even going to the body assembled and asking if that was okay, no friendly amendment request, nothing, and pushed through a watered down version of our resolution, which did pass. But the story and saga is not over with NAC and AER, so keep tuned in and we'll see what happens next. Yes, okay, so I've got my braille notes and my double-sided, my cards, and so I sometimes forget to flip them over because it was probably a bad idea to go that direction, but anyway. Yeah. So we have a new membership process in the National Federation of the Blind that will be rolling out here shortly, after the first of the year, I understand. And it will be a much more of a celebration of people coming to the organization. So Jeannie Massey is going to be sending out more information about that, but it will be, we'll have a process where we're mentoring and we're doing a more prescriptive way of bringing people into the Federation and giving them a little bit more information, little by little, about who we are and what we do, and making sure that our new members understand the National Federation of the Blind and why they want to be a part of us. One of the other things that we're doing in our national organization, public service announcements. We've got some new up-to-date public service announcements that we'd like for people to request, get them on your radio and television stations. You know that all of the media outlets have to do a certain number of hours on public service announcements. They might as well be doing the National Federation of Blind public service announcements. Yeah, Joe's got it.
We're going to be sending it out. I just got it out Wednesday. Official.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Okay. All right. So IRA, you guys, anybody in here use IRA? All right. Is this an IRA site?
Yes.
It is. All right. So, and the National Center for the Blind, Jernigan Institute are always free spaces, and there's a lot of great programs through the IRA Corporation, some free time when you're at work or doing things work-related. Anyway, check into it. All right, so we got some legal matters. We always have some legal matters, you know, trying to feed some sense into those sighted folk out in the community. Any of you doing the Uber and Lyft testing for service animals? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a great story about this. So I was in Baltimore visiting some of my friends, because there's a lot of blind people in Baltimore, if any of you haven't observed that. So we went out to a restaurant, and me and my two friends, the two friends of mine both have guide dogs, and we called for an Uber, or my friend did, and we're standing out front, and a car pulls up, and then his phone rings. And he's talking on the phone, and I'm getting the gist that whoever he's talking to, and I figured out it was the Uber driver, was saying that he could not pick them up. Well, I figured out that the guy's right here on the phone, talking to my friend on the phone. And this was right after the Uber settlement, right? And I went over and I knocked on his window, and he rolled his window down, and I said, "Do you want to lose your job? Because you know what? Your corporation is going to fire you if you do not let these people into your vehicle. It is against the law." Blah, 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 blah. That guy was so scared. He said, "Okay, you guys can come on in." Anyway, if you have a service animal, please, if you use Uber or Lyft, get on our website and fill out the survey about how you were treated by the driver. Okay, very important. Greyhound. We have reached a settlement agreement with Greyhound, who bus company. Anybody travel with Greyhound? Yeah, I try to as little as possible myself. I prefer Amtrak. Yeah, Greyhound is kind of a mess. Anyway, their website was not accessible for the purchase of tickets, and if you call, they charge you a service fee. Well, not if you're blind. So until they get their website accessible, you may call Greyhound, let them know that you are blind and their website is not accessible, and you will not receive a fee for booking your ticket. Thank you to the National Federation. Okay, there's lots of other things going on. All right, so Joe quickly mentioned Marrakesh Treaty. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody. You guys all know Marrakesh Treaty. All right, Marrakesh Treaty. In the United States, we have the Talking Book Program, right? So
Yes.
We can receive books that are in an accessible format for us. Well, we could not receive books from other countries, right? So books that were published, copyrighted in other countries were not accessible and available to us. Well, the Marrakesh Treaty would change all that. Books without borders is what we call it. And Scott LaBar and Dr. Fred Schroeder worked very hard for many years. Yes. And in 2013, the treaty was drafted and signed into law by many, many countries, but not the United States of America. Up until just this last summer, it was passed through the Senate and signed by the president. So the language for how that will be administered is already drafted and ready to go. We see no obstacles to finalizing and drawing the parameters for how this is going to work. So, yay, National Federation of Blind.
Yay!
All right, so space available, as Joe said, this would allow any military who were disabled as part of their service to travel on military transport as long as there was space available. That's why they call it space available. And the good news for us is that it was incorporated into the McCain reauthorization of the Defense Act. And it passed through Congress, and now it will be put into law. So yay for that. Oh, aim high. Students out there, you know what this is?
Show some enthusiasm.
I know, right? All right, we're working on the accessible instructional materials in higher education. That is what that stands for. So how many of you students out there, or when you were a student, if you aren't anymore, had difficulty with accessibility in your classes? There you go. All right, this is gaining some traction, and we're hoping that it will get through in this next Congress. The Accessible Technology Affordability Act. What that is? So, as an individual, this is another bill we have in Congress. As an individual, because your technology that you personally use is more expensive than the average Joe's technology, right? For every computer, you gotta add JAWS and you gotta do all that other stuff, your refreshable braille displays, all that stuff. So this would allow a credit on your taxes for the purchase of such material, of such equipment, right? This, I was shocked. I thought that there was no way this was gonna gain any traction. Well, Congress has jumped on it and is looking very, very good, like this is gonna pass through. So you would be able to buy that braille display that you need but can't really afford and get your, now, it's a credit. So this is even if you don't pay taxes, right? Let's say you're on Social Security, you don't pay taxes, you still can get reimbursed up to $3,000 for that piece of equipment.
Wow.
Yep. So, as Joe said, when you go with Washington Seminar, the battle is not over. And all of you, even if you don't go to Washington Seminar, you can be writing to your members of Congress and telling them how you want them to vote on all of these issues that I'm talking about right now. Time Act, the Time Act, transitioning into meaningful employment. This is the elimination of the sub-minimum wage. You guys all know that there are organizations who can pay less than the minimum wage. They have certificates that say, because this person is disabled, I don't have to pay them the prevailing minimum wage. All right? We think that's a bunch of hooey. Right? Because it's not, I'll bet you do. But I get that. I heard Governor Christie talk. I know, and the kinds of things he does to make things happen without words. But anyway, no, he's an idiot too. He says, all right. Whatever. He's not my idiot, so I'm cool with that. Yes, so this would eliminate the, I'm sorry, I know what I was going to say until I got distracted by New Jersey. You guys have a tendency to do that. So if it were truly based on productivity, right? But it's not. No, they can pay less than the minimum wage regardless of whether you're as productive as the next person or not. But wait, let's stop and turn around. In the general population, do you know people who are slow and lazy? Yeah. They pay them less money because the law says they get it regardless of what they're doing. So we're working on the Time Act would phase out the sub-minimum wage over time, and we've got a lot of organizations. We don't always work with other groups and organizations. We've got a lot of other organizations of disabled people on board with this one because it is so important that we eliminate the notion that we are second-class citizens, right?
That's right.
Self-driving cars are very, very near in the future, and we are working to ensure that when this comes to pass, that people with disabilities, blind people, will not be discriminated against, because there's a lot of discussion that if you're going to drive a driverless car, right, you have to have a driver's license. Well, that's just silly. So the National Federation of the Blind has stepped up to the plate, and we're going to ensure that if it comes to pass, you're going to be a part of that. Yes. lot of cool education programs through our Jernigan Institute. STEM EQ. Any, You got any STEM EQ students here? Oh, awesome, awesome. We had one in Oregon too. I was so excited, and she presented at our convention. It was very cool. Lots of STEM stuff for teenage kids, because blind kids frequently get left out of STEM. I was at the student table this morning, and we were talking about STEM stuff and how difficult it is if you don't know Braille, right? Math and science is difficult if you don't know Braille. So these are programs that we're working on where we invite students to the National Center. They have blind mentors, and they build rockets and do all kinds of really cool out-of-the-box stuff. We have the Braille Book Club for young children, where we send Braille Reading Pals, where we send out twin vision books for children and their parents so that they can sit and read Braille with their mom and dad. We have the Young Explorers, which is for cane travel for young kids. And there's that bell thing. Yeah, I really had the opportunity. We did not replace Carlton Walker, who was the most recent paid staff member working with the Bell Academies across the country. And so rather than to see it kind of fall to the wayside and have our affiliates kind of floundering, I decided, as Joe said, that I was going to help out with Bell Academy. So I have kind of been the national person on Bell, and I am pleased to say with 5 new affiliates run their first Bell Academy this past week. Okay, the Green Drop, I know you guys have this here. We don't in Oregon, and you do well, don't you? Yeah. So, do you guys know what Green Drop is? Yeah. Anybody not?
No, I don't.
Okay, I just real quick, because I hated being new and not knowing when people would talk about stuff that, so, it's been a long time ago, yes, I understand. Anyway, so Green Drop is an organization that will take your old used appliances and things of that nature, and we get money from those donations. So it's several states on the East Coast run this, and New Jersey is one of them, so I thought I would bring that up, that was orchestrated by the national organization. And the final thing that I'm going to say, because I know I'm running out of time, Dream Maker Circle. Anybody in this room a member of the Dream Maker Circle?
Yes, sir.
All right, I am too. So let me just real quickly, Dream Maker Circle is an opportunity for you to take a look at maybe a life insurance policy, or your IRA, or I have another savings retirement program that I pay into, and I have changed the recipients. If something happens to me, God forbid, which we all will eventually, right? That I have added a percentage of the financial piece of that to go to the National Federation of the Blind. So you can do this. It doesn't take a lot of work. You just need to call up whoever is responsible, your insurance agent or whoever it may be, and just it's a matter of a small amount of paperwork, and then you will be giving a gift to help continue the programs and services of the National Federation of the Blind that I've just gone over, and to help support your affiliate. Our affiliate gives 50% of any bequest or donation that we receive to our national organization. I know this, it's been our practice for years. So what I did is I left my percentage to the National Federation of the Blind of Oregon, who will then give 50% to the national organization, and that's the way that I handled that. So anyway, are there any quick questions? I'll be here all weekend. So if you'd like to talk to me, I'd like to get to know each of you personally. I know there's a lot of you here, but come up and say hi and chat with me, okay? Thank you so much for being here.
We have for you, you did mention something about knocking on that door and old people with garlic around their neck. We have for you some garlic. We work fast in the Federation. Carla always thinks outside the box. I have a jewelry box for her. And the jewelry box is absolutely nothing. I mean, she's with the garlic. On top of the box is a brain. And she will always think outside the box. And everybody has to do food around here too, so. So let's have a door prize. I run this organization. Door prize, you heard it. They want a door prize, we give them a door prize. They want to pay my rent, they pay my rent. Whatever they want to do is fine with me. Speak up. The winner? Claire Bryant.
Not here.
Not here. Toxin Gomez.
You have to come up and down while instead of
Ryan's up here. Ryan. Mary Jo. Mary Jo. Is someone with me, Yvonne Lopez, come forward? I'm formal today. Is everybody up? Yep. All right. Musical chairs, this is low. But we get it done, we find a way to get it done. There's always a system to get it done. And Liz is the system. It brings us to, well, just let me just say something here. So our guests, these are our guests, even though we pay their salary, they're still our guests. We have three dynamic people up here. Well, there's more than three up here, but the ones that we're going to talk about right now. We know Rick is dynamic, and Ryan's dynamic, and Mary Jo's dynamic, but we have three people up here. We're going to do it in order. The purpose of this convention, this is for their knowledge, I'm sure they've been to conventions before, is to celebrate this past year's activities and to plan our next year or year's activities. I'm going to turn this over to Richard Fox. He is the chair of the state event. You can afford it. Go ahead. Long-time member of the Federation. I'm going to turn it over to Rick Fox, who is chair of the State Rehabilitation Council, with some words.
Thank you, everybody. There we go. Thank you, everybody. First, I want to mention a couple of things about the SRC. State Rehabilitation Council's mission is to work with the New Jersey Commission for the Blind to advise, consult, and partner with the commission to make the VR program as good as it can be. The town halls that we've had in the past years have been run mainly by the SRC with the help of the commission. And we've done, we have worked closely with the commission on the evaluation that we did of advancing opportunities, the survey that many of you have received. And I have been elected chairperson for the last year and served to try to move that committee along. The second thing I want to talk about, and that committee is made up of stakeholders for the rehabilitation process, including consumers, people who work in the process, and business and industry. I would like to talk about the parental rights issue. We've had difficulty, as you know, as blind people, with parents and various caretakers having children taken away, not having visitation rights, and being treated unequally in a capricious and pernicious fashion all over the country. So we have a model bill which has been passed by 10 states. The bill deals with many different child care settings, including adoption, foster parents, biological parents, guardians, people who are getting divorced and need child custody, and visitation dealt with. So I'm going to ask Joe to hold the mic while I read some of the items in our bill. I'll leave the mic. There we go. So this is what our bill says. This is a model bill. The first one is that a court may not abridge or prohibit a blind person to care for a child in the ways that I've mentioned, based on blindness, if the person is deemed otherwise acceptable. That's the first item. The second item is if someone alleges, and there are many reporting people that may report this, social workers, doctors, nurses in hospitals who come in contact with parents or people who want to take care of children. If someone alleges that a person's blindness will have a detrimental effect on the best interest of a child, that person has to come up with clear and convincing evidence. The burden of proof, in other words, is on the accuser, not the blind person. If a court limits or prohibits parental rights or rights of child care, the court must make specific written findings that state the basis of the denial or limitation. They can't just do it arbitrarily. So those are the three items in our model bill. This bill has been passed in one form or another by 10 states, and I'll name them in alphabetical order: Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Maryland, Missouri. I'm not good on this abbreviation. Maine, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Utah. And our intention and our desire, because we've had people who live in New Jersey affected by this problem, our intention and our desire is to have this bill passed in New Jersey as soon as possible. And I thank you very much.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Brian Stevens, the chair of the NFBNJ Resolutions Committee. For those who attended the committee meeting last night, we discussed one resolution, is dealing with parental rights as described by Rick. And quick question: anyone in here not know what a resolution is? Okay. For other people, what a resolution is, it is the policy position of the organization. Basically, when we vote on, we adopt these resolutions, that is saying that's our policy, and we pursue the accomplishment of fulfillment of that policy, through letter writing, or working with agencies or other entities or people, and so that's why it is important to vote on this. And the way the process works is we have a committee ahead of time. That way, if we get inundated with a gazillion resolutions, we can filter through and pass on to you guys, the convention assembly. Which ones are the most appropriate for us to adopt as an organization. And as I said, we do have one, and we dealt with parental rights, and I would like Manager Partica to read it for us.
Can everybody hear me? This is resolution 2018-01 regarding protecting the civil rights of blind parents. Whereas protecting the rights of parents with disabilities is a notion that incredibly was rejected by the United States Supreme Court in the course of Buck versus Bell 274 U.S. 2019-27, in which Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote, "It is better for all the world if, instead of waiting to execute degenerate offspring for crime or to let them starve for their imbecility, society can prevent those who are manifestly unfit from continuing their crimes, and whereas this insulting and unjustified view of people with disabilities, including blind people, are somehow manifestly unfit to be parents or otherwise to live the lives they want, and to participate as members of society with all rights and privileges associated therewith, has too often continued to prevail in the courts, even as we move further into the 21st century, and whereas this bias is reflected in matters involving adoption, guardianship, and contested child custody proceedings, because blind parents have been perceived by the courts, child protection agencies, guardians ad litem, hospital staff, and others as incapable of caring adequately for their children's needs, which has resulted in blind people routinely being the right to be parents without unfair bias or unnecessary outreach by government entities. And whereas, for most people, a fundamental aspect of living life to the fullest includes the joy of being a parent and sharing the nurturing growth and development of a child. And whereas, being a parent and raising children is a fundamental right which is protected under the Constitution of the United States of America by the First and Ninth Amendments and under the 14th Amendment as applied to the states. And whereas, in the case of blind parents, there is a need to protect this fundamental constitutional right, yet New Jersey has no laws at all to protect the blind citizens. Blind citizens to be parents and raise their children without the fear of discriminatory treatment or unnecessary inquiries of fitness solely based on blindness. And whereas 10 states across the country have enacted legislation that specifically protects the rights of blind parents, and momentum toward the goal of equal rights for blind parents is growing. Now therefore be it resolved by the National Federation of the Blind of New Jersey in convention assembled this third day of November 2018 in the township of Woodbridge, New Jersey, that this organization call upon the New Jersey legislature to enact laws that establish procedural safeguards to protect the rights of blind people to be parents and prohibit discriminatory presumptions of manifest unfitness solely because a person or prospective parent happens to be blind. And be it further resolved that we urge the New Jersey Attorney General in protecting the best interests of children in court proceedings to use his or her good office proactively to protect Black parents in the state against discrimination and bias based solely upon blindness, and to urge the courts, guardians ad litem, and officials of child protection agencies to base decisions about what is in the best interest of the child on the same criteria used for sighted parents. And that's the resolution.
The committee did recommend passing that to the convention. So if I may, can I have a motion to accept the resolution? And being also said,
Second.
Okay, moved by Linda Melendez and seconded by the to accept. Do we have any discussion on the resolution? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So adopted.
Thank you, Rick and Ryan and Mary Jo. Mary Jo read that in Braille, and for the commission's purposes, she was a 5-year-old kid learning Braille for the Commission for the Blind. And there she is. There she is. This next guest of ours, everyone is our guest today. We are. Our next guest is a friend of mine who I met many years ago when I worked in a program called the Essex County Senior Community Independent Living Services Program. And we were managed at that time by the First Occupational Center. And that grant was being moved to the Puerto Rican Association for Human Development, for example. I thought, oh, that's it, the job's over. I was wishing it wasn't. And then I met this young lady by the name of Yvonne Lopez and her staff. And we talked, and she says, we're taking this grant if you can come with it. And that's great. And they got us an office in West Orange. Everything worked out great. In fact, real quick story, Yvonne, maybe this is before you were actually the executive director at the time. We needed a car for the agency. And we didn't know what we were going to do. And lo and behold, this is how things work. 3 days later, I got a call out of the blue from someone in North Jersey. Do you guys take cars? I said, no, well, we don't take cars. You're the NFB. I heard you're president of NFB. At that time, we didn't take cars. So don't yell at me. So I said, no, but what kind of car do you have? So what's my son's car? He just wants to, donate it. It still runs. So I said, well, let's see what we can do here. After a phone call back and forth, she checked with her son. Her son said, yes, I want to donate my car to the Essex County Skills Program, not knowing what car it was. 3 days later, get a call. It was a 2004. This is the year 2000, maybe 8 or 9, somewhere around there. 2004, 3 or 4. What? Mercedes-Benz. Donated.
Oh, wow.
So I went to a meeting at that time with Ms. Trinidad, was executive director. I walked in, I got kisses, I got hugs from her. Took me to the car here, and it fell out of the sky. But all that said, always had pleasure working for an agency, a company that believes in people. And when Yvonne Lopez became executive director, boy, was I totally convinced. She believes in people. She believes in our movement. She believes in picking people up, pointing them in the right direction, guiding and assisting to the next level. So with that, I'm going to give you a quote. This is a quote for anyone who is I'll give you a quote. You decide if this fits you. Okay? It's from John Quincy Adams, and neither Yvonne or the other guest went to school with John Quincy Adams, but it's a quote from John Quincy Adams. Funny, here we go. This is from, again, John Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and do more, you are a leader. Yvonne, you are a leader. Thank you. Somebody. I didn't know Yvonne Lopez was checking on her. You're at the state convention, you're supposed to take me food shopping today. So speaking of food shopping, we have a lot of food out there for you. So, I went to a convention, national, many years in a row. We were in convention, and this little girl gets up to the podium in front of 2,500 people, grabs the microphone, introduces herself. I think she's related to Linda Melendez. She went up there and just owned the place. And someone asked her in her little speech, she says, I want you to know I'm 6 3/4 years old. So you know she's but she gave a talk about why the Bell program was important to her, what it meant to her. I turned around, we sit in rows of our delegation. Carol was there, and Geraldine and some other people. I turned around and said, we're doing this next year. I don't know where we're getting the money from. I don't know who's gonna do it. I don't know where we're gonna have it. But we gotta do this. So once we found out all the parameters of it, where can we have this event? Try to get someplace central. Well, let me make a call to the Puerto Rican Association of Human Development, and let's see what we can do. I called, Yvonne answered the phone, we talked for a minute or two, and I told her what we were looking for. We were looking for a space to rent. Joe, we have space here. I was hoping she'd say. And what would the rent be? Joe, your nonprofit, $0. Which I'm hoping she'd say. We need some insurance. Can we get on your policy as a writer policy? Let me check, she called me back. Yes, you're on, and there's no cost. Which is hoping she'd say. A true friend, a true believer. She and her agency received the first Agnes Allen Distinguished Service Award several years ago. It was always a delight to introduce her as executive director of the Puerto Rican Association. It's even a bigger delight to introduce to you today Assemblywoman Yvonne Lopez.
Wow, what an introduction. You know, I just love Joe so much. He brings tears to my eyes every time I talk to him. Yes, we are good friends, and I'm so delighted to be here with all of you today. And first and foremost, I would like to congratulate the National Federation of the Blind of New Jersey on your 42nd state convention. Remains determined to improve the lives of the blind community in New Jersey throughout the entire nation. I would be remiss if I did not personally thank the state chapter president, Joe Ruffalo, for inviting me here to speak with all of you today. As Joe mentioned, we have known each other through my work at the Puerto Rican Association. So many stories, the Bell program coming to the agency during the summer. One of the things I loved about that program was that during the summer, we had about 40, 50, 3 and 4 and 5-year-old children in our camp. It was a private camp at the agency, and they were obviously seeing children. And what we did was we brought the seeing children together with the visually impaired, the blind children. They went and had ice cream together. They walked the waterfront together. They went swimming together at the local YMCA. It was just beautiful. They danced together. They played musical instruments together. Joe would dress up as Santa Claus. It was really, we just had so much fun. And I always appreciated that summer experience. I never took time off of this over the summer, those 2 weeks, because I wanted to be there. I truly enjoyed to see the interaction between both children. And Joe, I thank you for reaching out to me about the program, because it was an honor for us. It continues to be an honor. Obviously, no longer the executive director, CEO of the organization. I moved on in May and I was elected last year to serve as your assemblywoman for the 19th district.
Yay!
And I also want to congratulate Joe on his 25 years of service, right? As your president, we're very lucky to have such an amazing leader, and it's my privilege to call you my friend. Joe, thank you. Thank you. Today, I'm fortunate to speak to you in my capacity as a newly elected assemblywoman representing the 19th legislative district, which includes Carteret, Woodbridge, Perthy Amboy, South Amboy, and Cedarville. I often say I'm a servant, I'm a public servant. I've been a public servant for 25 years, and though I have a specific district, I serve everyone in the state of New Jersey. I know full well the power of the organization helping the blind community. And I go on, I have my remarks here, but I did talk about the Bell program and working with Joe and his group. As a state representative, I continue to be impressed by the work that New Jersey continues to lead for the blind community. The New Jersey Commission for the Blind and Vision Impaired has become a tremendous resource in the state to promote and provide services in the areas of education, employment, independent living, and eye health. The Commission has also been able to increase the number of project-based eye screenings throughout the state and worked with legislators to provide these services in their districts. So at the Puerto Rican Association, we have a designated program just for vision screenings, and we see about 3,200 individuals throughout the years in the counties of Middlesex, Hudson, and Union. Through the Medicaid program, they also provide health insurance and medical assistance for certain blind individuals that qualify for assistance. With the adoption of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, the law that governs federal vocational rehabilitation programs, the CBBI has introduced a number of new education and transition-age youth programs and services. The CBBI has also provides educational services that are available from birth through high school graduation for eligible children and their families. The CBBI ensures that nearly 9 out of 10 clients who exit vocational rehabilitation programs into employment earn an hourly rate wage that is greater or equivalent to the state or federal minimum wage. Aside from these highlights, the Commission is also able to provide a slew of community services and acts as a tremendous resource for the blind community in New Jersey. While I know that you may be aware of the services I just discussed, I thought it important to further emphasize the state of New Jersey stands with its blind community to ensure that the best possible resources are available. In partnership with the National Federation of the Blind of New Jersey, our visually impaired residents are blessed with great resources and access at all times. I know this year your most important discussion concerns the right to blind parents in raising their children. This is an issue that I take very seriously, and I need to learn more about. I'm counting on all of you to provide me with the information I need to further explore this issue at the state level. If I have learned anything in my role, it is that we can do nothing alone, and all victories are shared victories. Therefore, I applaud all of you with your efforts here today, encourage you to continue working with me and supporting me as I navigate the halls of Trenton. Should there ever be an issue that you would like to discuss, or if you would like to just visit me, my door is always open. Thank you for inviting me here today, and may God bless you.
She's my friend and our friend. Absolutely. Well, you're navigating the halls of Trenton. No. It's a good idea, but no. We have to fundraise before we can fundraise. No, listen. When you go to Trenton or in your office, I'd like to give you know the expression, think outside the box. I have a jewelry box here for you. Now, don't get it too excited. There's nothing in it. I'm pretty cheap. And on top is a brain, so you can think outside the box. And that's what we got to do to get our jobs done. You'll be hearing from us after this convention. We maybe want to meet with you in your office, several of us. There's a young couple here from South Jersey who have a 6-month-old son. No, Logan's in the house. He became our youngest member with his name tag on there, and I hope he wins the door prize. But his parents are here today, and they just went through, at least I know of, 2 situations about being pressured how they should not have a child. How the child should be with a blind parent. So we have others this afternoon to talk about too. We have a foster mom in this room that she fought and got her foster child and lost the foster child. She's being recertified, but through the help of all of us at the Federation, she's back on the list. So we just want this to be done, want it done fairly. If you're a competent and capable person, this should not be a threat to you. Thank you. Yes, sir. We are presenting the Assemblywoman a copy of the resolution that was read on letterhead. It makes good nighttime reading. It makes good morning reading. It makes good afternoon reading. She said we will meet on this. It's great. Last week I saw a gala event, and I don't know if you know the whole story behind this, Yvonne, before you have to leave. But just take 10 more seconds. This is a great. I love stories. They're true. They're embarrassing. And every time I'm embarrassed by them. It's about me. But this beautiful gala event right here in this hotel. I came here several years to support the Puerto Rican Association at their gala event, and we got there, and I saw Juan Carlos, who used to work with also at the agency. He's now Yvonne's the legislator director. And in talking with him, I said, Juan Carlos, before this event, I have to see Yvonne Lopez. I have to. So she was up there giving her speech, and she forgot her reading glasses at home. I was ready to jump up and give her mine. Way in the back of the room. So, and she's born this that, and she finally was able to do what she had to do. So here is the end of the night, and I said, Linda, Linda was with me. Linda, we have to find her. She said, she's up there talking, as usual, with Linda. So the choice was this: do we go up there and wait in line to see her, or do we go to the buffet line and get a plate of pastries? Let's get a plate of pastries first, top priority. So Linda's getting this plate of pastries. I'm sitting down and talking to the people at the table. Lo and behold, Linda goes back. Joe, someone here wants to see you. Now I didn't know that when she's getting these pastries, and she started talking to this young man, and she's like, I think this plate back to my boss. She called me, something like that. Got to get it back there because we have to meet Yvonne Lopez. I said, oh, you want to meet Yvonne Lopez? She says, yes. Do you know her? Yes, I know her. I'm her husband. So she came over to the table and she said, Joe, I have someone here to see you. And it was Yvonne Lopez, and we embraced and hugged and talked, and here she is. So thank you, Yvonne. We're trying to make our banquet tonight. This is the election season. I know she has to run around and help support other people out there. But this is her district. Woodbridge is her district. You heard it. And in talking with her that night, I said, I can't wait to introduce you as Congresswoman Yvonne Lopez. No, Joe, it's Assemblywoman. No. In the Federation, we raise our expectations. So someday I will do that. Yvonne, we love you. We thank you. Thank you very much. And think outside the box all the time. Thank you. Let's have a door prize in honor of Yvonne Lopez. Morgan Stanley Mug. All right. When did you intern this past summer? Oh, that's close enough. Right. Very good, very good. Okay, next on our agenda. And you notice I'm up here with leaders in our community, leaders at the state agency, leaders on the state legislature level, and they're all young ladies. They're taking over. They can do a better job than we have done in the past. I'm sure we can. It's in their heart to do what is right. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you a friend of mine. They're friends of all of us. And they really work really hard, I know they do, to work together to make a difference. They do care, they do share, they do help us grow, for us to make a difference. I've known the first speaker, Miss Bernice Davis, Dr. Davis, who's now the interim director of the New Jersey Commission for the Blind, for a number of years. A couple of years ago, we were doing this planning, 1, 3, 5-year planning, and Dan was the executive director at that time and invited some stakeholders to this planning session and had 6 what they call stovepipes and groups. And he assigned me to a group dealing with kids in education and employment, since I was working with the LEAD program for a number of years in EDGE. And I was the stakeholder on that committee, and one of the people on the committee was Dr. Davis. After a few months, she left. They have twins, is that correct? They have twins, which is a good reason to get leave. And she's back, trying to balance twins and balance the commission and balance her phone calls and everything she needs to balance. So I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Davis, and then we'll hear from the deputy director also. Yes, you're getting think outside the box.
Thank you so much, Joe. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is very, very good to be here today. I want to start with that. So happy to be at the 42nd convention of NFBNJ.
Yay!
So thank you for that introduction. So it is my pleasure. I'm actually going to be introducing the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Human Services, Elisa Nera. And I report to Elisa. Elisa has been great to work with. She comes to us with a depth of knowledge. Previously, she served as the Director of Human Services for Princeton. She also has a background in being a manager for residential homes for deafblind persons. And it's been a pleasure to work with her. Always wanting to learn, always asking plenty of questions, and always asking me, how can I support you? What can I do? So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Deputy Commissioner Elisa Nera.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Neda. I'm Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Human Services, and it's really a pleasure to be here today. Am I working? Okay, got it. Is that better? Yeah. All right. It's really a pleasure to be here today, joined by Dr. Bernice Davis, or the Acting Executive Director for the New Jersey Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And I thank you for inviting us today, and Joe, thank you for the phone call we had last week and for having us. The National Federation for the Blind of New Jersey is a true leader in the ongoing effort to ensure that blind and visually impaired people have the chance to live the life they want. 42 years, you have worked for a brighter tomorrow. You have helped transform dreams into reality, and I commend you for the dedication, for the commitment, and your leadership in our state. I look forward to partnering with everyone here to help build a better tomorrow for so many New Jerseyans. It is my honor to be a Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Human Services, to work for Governor Murphy and our Commissioner Carol Johnson. And it is also a great honor for me to have the opportunity to work directly with the Commission. In my previous professional life, I had the opportunity to work with individuals who are blind, deaf, or deafblind, and who benefited directly from the many services the Commission provides. I learned about deafblind supports from training made available by the Commission, and was able to train direct support staff working with individuals with all ranges of sensory loss. New Jersey became a trailblazer in 1910 when it created the CBBI. It became one of the first states to create an agency devoted to the educational, vocational, and day-to-day life needs of those who are blind and visually impaired. Our goal is to promote and provide services in the areas of education, employment, independence, and eye health. And most of all, we want to promote access to opportunity. More than 150,000 New Jerseyans live with blindness or vision loss. That is enough to fill the Prudential Center nearly 8 times.
Wow.
Ensuring they have access to opportunity is among the top priorities of Governor Murphy and everyone that works in this administration. And I can assure you that we will build upon CBBI's trailblazing legacy. We understand the trust that has been placed in us, and we take it seriously. And as proof, I want you to know that we have been very busy. When we started in the department earlier this year, under the leadership of Governor Murphy, it was clear to us that we have a terrific, hardworking, and passionate workforce that for too long had to pick up additional work due to unfilled vacancies, due to not hiring people to fill positions. One of our first priorities was to work on a hiring plan to build our bench and our human capacity. Because after all, we cannot do the work that we want to do if we don't have the human capacity to get us there. Many of you have been extremely helpful in these efforts, and particularly in elevating our recruitment efforts by sharing our recruitment information with your professional networks and circles. And we're actively working on the executive director position and are committed to select a strong leader with the experience and skills necessary to continue to advance the work of the Commission and shared goals of the department. In my new role, I have spoken to a number of national leaders in the field and colleagues from blind and vocational rehabilitation agencies in other states. And it was clear to me that New Jersey is seen as a leader in providing services and supports to individuals with blindness and vision loss. Along with providing independent living services to nearly 4,000 people, including orientation and mobility, braille instruction, and day-to-day living skills, we've been working to expand our community outreach. Assemblywoman Lopez mentioned that this year we worked with several legislative district offices to amplify our public outreach and vision awareness, and held community vision screening events throughout the state. And we're looking to do more. So let us know if you want a screening event in your district. Our Project Best provided eye screenings to nearly 35,000 people during last year. And of that number, nearly 4,000 were transferred to further medical care. It is a critical program that helps individuals who are uninsured or underinsured identify potential issues with their vision and seek treatment and supports. We recently celebrated 2 big events that coincided with Blindness Awareness Month. We were thrilled to celebrate yet another graduation ceremony of the Senior Hands-On Retreat Experience, which you might know as the SHORE program, making it 5 since the program began 2.5 years ago. This program has made a major impact on the lives of older New Jerseyans and their companions. Commissioner Johnson and I had the great opportunity to go to the graduation ceremony and listen to participants as they told us how life-changing the experience had been, and how it gave them the necessary skills and confidence to live independently. We were also thrilled to bring the LEAD program to the Newark Public Library, and we did so with a wonderful celebration that included the Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, who showed her support for the program and for CBBI. As you know, the LEAP initiative targets older adults and provides them basic computer skills training on how to use assistive software. This includes magnification and audio reading tools to help vision impaired users with reading websites, emails, and other documents. The value of this type of program is really impossible to measure. And we know technology and the access it can provide can be a great gift. And having the ability to read and digest information is so important to someone's self-esteem and ability to navigate through this always complicated world. It is a great program and an example of what we want to build here in the Murphy administration, to bring the best services possible to those who are blind and visually impaired. But we know access to opportunity is more than learning skills. Access to opportunity must include jobs. And blind and visually impaired people are as talented as anyone when it comes to getting the job done. And that is why we have grown our business relations unit, which is now meeting and working with 45 businesses. Improving the economy is a top priority of Governor Murphy, and this includes all New Jerseyans. So we will be working to expand our partnerships in the workforce system, community providers, and other entities that reach and serve businesses. We want to open more doors for employment opportunities. These are just a few of the programs and improvements we have in mind. But what good are programs if no one knows about them? That's why CBBI and the Department of Human Services are working together to improve community education and outreach. For instance, this September, we published our first New Jersey Human Services in the Community newsletter to share exciting things happening in the department and shine a spotlight on specific DHS programs. And the Project Best was one of them. So you'll be hearing a lot from us from now on, but keep in mind that improving services for the blind and visually impaired is an across-the-board effort for the department and for this administration. Diabetic eye disease is a leading cause of blindness, and the Murphy administration is working to expand Medicaid benefits for diabetes treatment that will cover self-management education and training. Prevention, after all, is the best form of treatment. This administration also launched, and you might have heard, the New Jersey ABLE program to help individuals with disabilities become more independent and thrive in their communities. Under New Jersey ABLE, they're able to save tax-free for eligible expenses such as education, housing, and transportation without losing eligibility for Medicaid or other public benefits. So these are just a few of the areas we're working on, and there's more to come. I look forward to working together on our shared priorities, and we know that blindness is not a characteristic that defines someone or their future. Together, we can raise expectations. Together, we can assure that blindness doesn't hold anyone back. And together, with our shared determination, we can make certain that those with blindness and vision loss live the lives that they want. Together, we can make a difference. And I thank you so much for having me today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the
Dr. Davis, think outside the box. That's for you. All right. Oh, there you go. There you go. Think outside the box. I love that. I'll turn it back to Bernice. Dr. Davis.
Thank you, pretty kid.
So I'm just going to talk just a little bit about how I got to New Jersey and my current role now as interim director. Just so that we keep the communication lines open. I just returned from a national vocational rehabilitation conference for blindness agencies. And one of the takeaways from the conference there was about relationships and partnerships. And I thought, oh, how succinct. We're going to the NFBNJ on tomorrow, and NFBNJ has been one of our cornerstone partners at the commission.
and has been through challenges, has helped us with innovations. As Joe was saying, you were part of the task force, and plenty of meetings in regards to commission programs, and just making sure that our missions are aligned, which I feel that they definitely are. We both are in the business of eliminating all barriers for persons who are blind and visually impaired, so that everybody has an equal footing. So one of the things, let's see, about myself, so I'm originally from Chicago, for those of you all who know me. And in Chicago, that was my first encounter with a blind person. I was looking for a summer job. I was about 20 years old. And I went to the career placement office. I saw a lot of jobs. Nothing really piqued my interest. And then all of a sudden, I saw an index card, and it said, reader. I said, reader? So you all can tell this was a long time ago, because nobody needs reader now. So anyway, I went on the interview, and it was my first encounter with Judge William Hafer. You do? Oh my gosh! Okay. Wow. Sorry. He wasn't a judge then. He was a civil. No, he was a civil service judge. That's so funny. That's all right. I'm the same team. Okay. That's right. Wow. Okay. So that's so awesome. We're glad I brought this up. So anyway, Judge Hager was my first encounter with a blind person. It was also my first encounter knowing about NFB. And one of the great things about Judge Hager, he just let me ask, whatever questions I needed to ask. And I was like, why do you need a reader? Because I saw that he had, what's equivalent to a Braille note. I saw that, he had his Braille books. And because, sometimes there are things that it's just more efficient and it's just more helpful to have a reader. And I said, okay. I said, if I can be helpful, that's great. And I said, I would really like to learn a lot as much as I can about blindness. And he freely, just told me about his experience. And he let me know that's just one experience. So when I came to New Jersey, and I was interviewing actually for the position of executive assistant. And for those of you who don't know, prior to this role as interim director, I've served as the executive assistant for the director of the Commission for the Blind for 13 years. It's been my privilege to do so. In that role, I was responsible for knowing a little bit about a lot of things. And now, in this interim role, I'm responsible for knowing a lot about a lot of things. But I must say that I have a great, great team at the Commission for the Blind. For some of those that some of the team members and some of the people that comprise our staff, and you work with our staff, they're a great team. The dedication, the commitment, the above and beyond velocity that so many of our staff have has made a difference. Not just for persons who are blind and visually impaired, but also, for the staff and for our mission. So one of the things that Joe asked me to come here to do today was to talk about what has the commission been doing for the last several months, and where are we going? And everyone knows with transitions, a lot of times people get anxious, sometimes it's a little mysterious. So I just wanted to let everyone know that the commission has always had a vision. The commission has always been led by a vision, and that has not changed. And that vision breaks down into activities and programs, communications, and partnerships with our stakeholders. So let me just talk a little bit about vocational rehabilitation. So some of the highlights that we have for VR are we've had successful employment outcomes in competitive integrated employment for the 2018 fiscal year of 186. We've successfully completed federal monitoring with incredibly positive feedback from the Department of Education's Rehabilitation Services Administration. We had such positive feedback from the federal monitoring team that I felt confident in actually inviting Deputy Elisa to the exit. They told us, you know, you guys are doing great work here. And of course, there are things that were pointed out, a few things that we have to get better at. And they love the fact that we were open to that, or open to feedback, knowing that yes, just because we're doing well, there's always ways to improve and always ways to eliminate barriers and make things easier, create more and more opportunities for people who are blind and vision impaired. And the synergy was just incredible because we're all about that goal of everybody living the life that they want. I also want to tell you that our business relations unit, it continues to grow. We've met and worked with 45 businesses so far this year, including providing disability and accommodation related trainings to 30 businesses and facilitating competitive, integrated employment for 4 of our consumers with those businesses. So, if anybody has a lead-in, anybody has a business that wants to work with CBBI, please do not hesitate to call and let us know. We'll jump on it right away. Some of the priorities for 2019 and 2020 in our VR department is to review and assess our supportive employment services and to look for opportunities to best serve individuals with the most significant disabilities to increase their employment outcomes. We want to further develop our quality assurance and internal controls, including professional development and training, leadership and best practices for our VR counselors and our VR supervisors. And lastly, under VR, we're looking to expand partnerships with the workforce system, community rehabilitation providers, and our stakeholders to better reach and serve businesses via technical assistance, training, and ultimately open the door for employment opportunity for our consumers. Yay. Under independent living and our iHealth services, we have been providing independent living services so far. 3,973 individuals have received some form of independent living. Orientation and mobility instruction. We have 2,000 individuals who receive training to enhance their day-to-day living skills, including Braille instruction. During the last 12 months, we've established 6 additional assistive support programs for independence renewal and education. That's our Aspire program. It's a program of peer support groups. There are now 55 groups providing adjustment to vision loss and educational resources throughout the state. The Independent Living Older Blind Services component completed its 2nd successful senior hands-on retreat experience. We call it our SURE program. It's totaling 5 years since it began, cycles since it began 2.5 years ago. This program has made an impact on the lives of individuals who are 55 and older, as well as their companions. Many of persons who have participated has said that it has been life-changing. The program has been life-changing and has given them the necessary skills and confidence to live independently. I have actually gone to ceremonies myself, in ceremonies for the SURE program, and the transformation that has actually taken place in a week, not just for our consumers, but their companions as well. It has been incredible. I actually invited the commissioner as well as the deputy commissioner because I said, I just don't want to tell you about this. You need to feel it. They both attended. just last month, and I said to them, was it worth it? And they says, oh, yes. So also I wanted to tell you about our Project Best program, our Better Eye Health Services Treatment. They provide eye screenings, and as the deputy said, it's been to over 34,000 individuals living in New Jersey have received eye screenings from Project Best. And of that number, 3,661 individuals were referred for further medical eye care, and 170 individuals were referred for commission services.
That's great.
So CBDI's blindness prevention efforts in communities all over New Jersey, they've always been valuable to our outreach, to our community, and to our community education efforts. Each month, approximately 75 invitations for eye screenings, they're sent out, they're administered. The eye screenings are administered Monday through Sunday, with an additional 31 regularly scheduled monthly screenings provided at sites of our community-based partners. So also what you will see when you go to the eye screening, CBDI's agency literature is distributed and banners are posted to promote and educate all about CBDI's services and programs. So for independent living, our priorities for 2019-2020, we would like to increase the number of Project Best screenings and those served even more. Also, our library equal access program, LEAP, we'd like to increase the number of participating libraries. Aspire, we'd like to develop even more support groups. And also, we want to develop support groups for families. So that's something we feel is very important. Also, developing more partnerships with universities, colleges. Yeah, you'll be in college one day. We also want to expand recruitment. So outreach to communities, that's a priority for the commission. And also staff development. We would like to know more from our staff about what they want, what they need to serve our consumers better. I'm going to move on to education services. Some of those highlights this year. We've provided services to over 2,000 infants, toddlers, and school-aged children and teenagers across 384 school districts, charter schools, education services commission. Our teachers have worked in collaboration with parents and school teams to advise and contribute to the IEP process with their own goals and objectives, progress reporting, and final school reporting. Also, SHARP, our summer learning experience. It was provided to 89 students in grades 1 through 8. So SHARP stands for Students Hands-On Alternative Reinforcement Project. And the program was conducted in Newark, Freehold, and Cherry Hill. So in addition to our 89 youngsters, we provided a mentorship experience for 12 high school students from our EDGE program. For those of you who don't know, EDGE stands for Education, Development, Guidance, and Engagement.
Yeah!
All right? I have to say that I've been to several EDGE events, and it's incredible. And just what can I say?
It's awesome.
Not just the energy. You know what it is? It's that synergy and that sense of connection, that I see that the students have. It's just so positive. So kudos to EDGE. Thank you. Also, training for our student school personnel, which is so important. Our teachers at CBDI, they conducted workshops for parent educators supporting Braille readers. So that took place in October. And then there were about 22 parent educators in attendance. That was Freehold, in the Freehold area. And also we had 25 parent educators at the training in Cherry Hill. Also, our annual teachers symposium was held on October 23rd, 25th, and 26th. There were 246 teachers and 15 school administrators in attendance during the 3 days. The presentations were carefully prepared and addressed the needs of students with multiple disabilities, visual impairment, and dual media learners. And also we had workshops on large print and just Braille reading by itself. There was also special workshops for school administrators and child study team members. So that went very well. The priorities for 2019-2020 for education: plan and implement a redesigned and refreshed SHARP program to make the program more accessible to a wider range of students. In addition to the annual teacher symposium that we hold, we're planning a training activity for early intervention providers who serve our infant population and parents. For those who know about our George F. Meyer Instructional Resource Center, it's a small place that does a whole lot for the entire all the students in the state of New Jersey that go to school who are blind and visually impaired. So in short, it provides support to our commission teachers who provide appropriate, accessible instructional materials and technical support to agency registered students who are blind and low vision. Accessible materials include Braille textbooks, large print textbooks, assistive technology, and adaptive educational aids. So the highlights from the Meyer Center for 2018, the Meyer Center launched the Teacher of the Blind Discussion Board. The board will provide teachers or has provided teachers with information about accessible materials available to students and other information that will aid TDIs to provide essential skills to students who are blind and vision impaired. The board also houses how-to videos on techniques and strategies for teaching students with vision impairments. The Meyer Center also provided over 1,700 volumes of Braille and large print to students who are blind and attending New Jersey schools. Identification and provision of educational products were provided to families and infants with sensory impairments to encourage activities for development and visual attainment. So let's move on to the JKTC. Am I doing okay on time, Joe? Just a few more minutes?
Sure.
2 more minutes? Okay. All right. Okay, so let me move on to community education and outreach, which I have to say, for 13 years as the executive assistant role, community education and outreach was at the heart of what I did, and it's still something that holds a lot of significance for me. So let me just talk about those highlights. So DHS is supporting CBVI through intensive social media exposure, design and production of professional quality outreach materials, including brochures and posters and banners, flyers, and other publications. Development and distribution of media advisories and production of YouTube videos, PSAs, like we did one for Blindness Awareness Month, and that's been viewed over 1,700 times already. Also, I just wanted to say that in October Blindness Awareness Month, Governor Murphy did sign a proclamation for Blindness Awareness Month, and it was presented to CBVI a few weeks ago. And in closing, I just want to say that the commission is committed to working with other divisions within the Department of DHS to increase awareness of the services that CBVI provides. We're going to be working collaboratively with other state agencies to improve services and to look for opportunities to maximize efficiency and to continue to engage with and strengthen the partnership with our stakeholders. And of course, NFBNJ is one of our significant stakeholders. So bringing it back to relationships, we're all in this together. We have the same mission. Thank you for having me here today. Joe?
Just a couple quick thoughts for the commissioner and deputy commissioner. I promoted you already. Yeah. All right. Deputy Commissioner and for Executive Director. Oh, promoted her too. Anyway, when this gets settled, whoever the new Executive Director is, that's big, I'd like to plant a seed that the Director will be meeting staff throughout the state, and it'd be a good idea that some of the organizations are there too to present who we are to the staff. Many times the staff really don't know who we are. They think we're militant and radical, don't get involved with them. We hear that, and some of them do not. Many of them are wonderful, super dedicated people. So let's get that straight. I'm not here to bash anybody. But let them hear from us instead of somebody telling them what they think of us. That's what we have here today. I do go around the country quite a bit, being a national rep, so does Carla. And people truly are envious of New Jersey. You may say you're not getting one on time and this isn't right, but go around the country and listen. They are envious of the state agency we have here. So thank you very much. We can do better. I can do better. Don't tell my wife that, but I can. Thank you very much. We're going to move to the last item. So Connor will be on this afternoon. Connor, so you're getting really nervous now. Oh no, not this afternoon. Connor will be on, I think, once or twice this afternoon. I forget now. Once, I think. And we're going to move V to the afternoon. Now V's up here collecting canes for the cane program. If you have an old cane, used cane, don't want the cane, whatever. Give it to V. And we send them down to Tennessee. There's a gentleman in the NFB there who refurbishes the canes and things like that. And last year, I think we sent 30 or 40 canes, and he was able to refurbish many of them and send them to Mexico, I think Nigeria, and Kenya, I think. He's a member of the National Federation of Blind. So don't throw your own canes up. Just hold on to them and find V and bring them. If you don't give up your cane here, go home without a cane. Do that. No. But she's also got to collect them, or I'll be collecting them after the holiday party in January also. So bring your cane. Yes, sir. Bring your cane. He'll fix it. He'll do whatever he has to do with it. Yep. Okay. So we're going to move around here a little bit. She's asking when can she talk to the microphone. She's anxious to go. I want to introduce you to our Bell panel. We're going to do this quickly and spend a lot of time with the reason why we're here. We're going to introduce one of our stars in the Bell program. Let me just give her the Mary Jo's up here. Mary Jo's up here for a minute. Quick overview of what we did in Bell this past year.
Okay, I'll try to make this short. Hello, my name is Mary Jo Partica, and I have been the coordinator of the Bell program for the past 5 years. Bell stands for Braille Enrichment through Literacy and Learning, and our goal is to teach Blind children Braille and activities of daily living who attend our program. This year's program took place from July 16th to the 27th at the Puerto Rican Association of Human Development in Perth Amboy, and I thank the staff and volunteer students who have been involved with the program. 6 students attended this year's program, including Nate Stevens, Luke Waldman, Adi Wallavalker, Ryan Abbott, Jeremiah Fernandez, and who's here with us today. I also want to acknowledge the participants in the audience who have been involved with Bell, both past and present. This year we had, our teacher was Sylvia Reed from Delaware, and I believe they're having their convention this weekend, so I'm sure she's in Delaware talking about their Bell program. But the other people that worked with us this year were Linda Melendez, Rosa Santiago, Ellen Sullivan, Amy Ballard, I'm thinking, Enrico. I don't know. Michael Hall. I hope I remember it. I said Rosa. Yeah, I think. Oh, Rick and Debbie. Sorry about that. Yes. and we really appreciate it, and I'm gonna give this back to Joe.
I'm going to introduce you to a good friend. We've been friends for many, many years. She's only 5 years old, Zora? 5 or 6 years. 5. So I've known her for years. She's 5 years old. We've been friends. We're in the same wavelength, you know what I mean? Same joke pattern. Now, some of you are over there. She's one of our kids last year before. Nickname. She had a nickname. Yeah, let me do like the old Art Splitter show. They're not going to see you there. I'm going to stand on a chair. But stand on a chair so they can see you. This is one of our stars. It's a balancing seesaw. It's not a chair, balancing that. But you're on a sturdy chair. You really are, with 4 big prongs on that chair. One stands for the National Federation of the Blind. One stands for the state of New Jersey, NFB. The other one is the Bell Program. And the 4th one, to keep it really balanced, is the love we have for you in this audience. Zora loves pizza, right? And what is your favorite pizza? It's like a meat lover's pizza, right. So, Zora here. Okay, good. Zora came last year and stole our hearts. And one little guy, was Nate Stevens? I think it was Nate. Nate Stevens said, I'm not going to call you Zora. I have a nickname for you. And what nickname did he give you?
He used to call me Little Flower.
Little Flower. And she's blossoming every day, believe me. Super kid. Now, we went to pizza one day. Didn't we go for pizza? You, Mom, and Judy? I went for pizza. And in the middle of the conversation, excuse me. The grown-ups were talking and eating. Oh, I was eating and not talking, I guess. So, she said, I want to give you a nickname, Mr. Joe. She remembers. Okay. So I said, should I ask her? Just okay. What nickname are you going to give me?
It's still a little Christmas tree.
Little Christmas tree. I was going to come today with some ornaments on my head, but she likes that idea. Well, you know, I did invite them recently for some pizza, and like all my luck, except for Judy, didn't turn me down. They had to turn me down with an excuse that the mom had to work. Now, but we're going out for pizza again, okay? And why don't we invite Mr. Rick and Miss Debbie too? Sounds great. So, what's the one thing? Give me 1 or 2 things you liked about the Bell Program.
I like when they made like chocolate colored oils.
That was good too. And you really just you young lady here learned so many Braille contractions, did you?
I did. Right. Miss Mother told me like and like all that stuff.
Thank you. She said she already knew it. Now, a little while, about maybe a month ago, I was talking to Debbie and Rick about the convention, and she said, Joe, I just got a call from the Civic Center that there's this 5-year-old girl who's blind be taking some dance lessons. Could it be? I said, it could be. And Zora is taking lessons now. We're thinking about it. Yes, she is.
Music class, like, and karate.
One of the events we did, which is really important, you heard Ms. Yvonne Lopez talk about it, we want to have our students have fun with the other students at Prod, and we do lots of things with them. And the executive director of Prod, who'll be here tonight at the banquet, I think she has 2 daughters or a daughter and a niece. I think they were there. They wanted to come to every event we had. They didn't want to go on the other side, but decided we want to go with you. They learned so much from us. And we keep learning from you, right? So we had a special event with different event here. They're making candy. I did miss that class. I want to be there for that one. And all kinds of stuff to give them the confidence. Now, making candy is fun, but you have to learn how to pour, and measure, and all that good stuff. We always invited Rick and Debbie. Rick and Debbie have been friends of our federation for years. They both love Braille, and they came last year and this year, and they loved it so much. I remember Debbie said, "Listen, Joe, we love this. Can we do this again?" I said, "You're already on the agenda. Let's get home. Come on." So we did a special event, and we turned it over to Rick and Debbie. They did a special event for the kids. And I think Zora remembers the song. Do you remember the song? Oh. You don't remember the song? You say. All right, we're going to try to remember the song. We're going to try. So, Rick,
we read a book last year, and Debbie remembers the name of the book, I believe. What's the name of the book, Debbie? Lemonade in Winter. And it was about 2 kids, a brother and sister, who had the great idea to do a lemonade stand when it was snowing. It's ridiculous. So I made up a little chant because they had to do some, in the story they had to do some advertising because nobody was coming to their lemonade stand in February. So here's the song, and we'll see if we can get everybody to sing it because they were selling lemonade, limeade, and lemon limeade. And the cost was 50 cents. So, ready, Zora? Lemonade and limeade, lemon limeade, lemonade and limeade, lemon limeade, lemonade and limeade, lemon lime. The cost is 50 cents. The cost is 50 cents. Very good.
For you, Rick and Debbie. Now, you know me, I think of all kinds of things. We have for you a lemonade mix. Lemonade mix. So here you go, Rick and Debbie.
Oh, wow.
So if you want some lemonade in January, go to Bluefield, 37th place, and you'll get some great lemonade. Lemonade and limeade. Very good. So, Mom, let me ask Mom a few questions. Mom is here. We first met Mom by a telephone call. I looked at the White Cane list, and I saw a name on there, Iris Kiefer, and I saw that she was looking for a 32-inch cane. Either she is getting the wrong cane, or it's for someone else. And we talked, and we talked. I guess we talked some more. It was a good talk, sir. You're here. And I referred her to who else but Carol Castellano. I know they've been had coffee. We talked some more, and we talked about the Bell program. She changed her work schedule around and figured, and they came, and they're here this year. So, Iris.
I'm very happy to be part of this organization, and we've had a wonderful time and felt very included and loved and supported in this entire process. And so I'm very thankful to have met Joe and the rest of you, and we have a very long lifetime, right, with the organization.
Thank you.
Zara also goes to public school in Bloomfield and is teaching her classmates that it's respectable to be blind. it's okay to be blind. And she's doing dance lessons, ballet. I tried ballet one time. That's why they never called me back. I couldn't remember. Ballet, well, it's a ballet and something else. So anyway, we are going to hopefully develop in our chapters, our chapter presidents to think this through. And we'll have our pilot program maybe in Bloomfield with Zara as our pilot. You like to be a pilot? Yes. Jay said yes, but it's good. And what that means is we're going to try something. I know we can in other chapters too. We want to extend the Bell program further than just the 2-week program in the summer. And she is learning a lot of Braille through the commission, which is wonderful. So what we want to try to do is to extend this to other students. Maybe start with our Bell students first. And after a chapter meeting, invite Zara and her mom to the chapter meeting and they can do a presentation because kids know your heart. And so anyway, after the chapter meeting, we may want to do a Braille lesson or a mobility lesson, not just with her, but any other members too. Now, the New Jersey, the Bluefield Lions Club is going to find out about our organization because I'm a member of it. And we're going to have Zora one day come down to be a guest speaker. Now, I'll have her be a guest speaker after our club raises money. And then she'll become a guest speaker. We have money to give to whatever we need to give it to. And Rick will be invited too, because we need to reach out to our community. So anyway, with all that said, come out. Okay, so we have to live good here. Do a good job. I asked Rosa to come up here. She was her teacher, Little Flower and Princess. I think Dad calls her Princess sometimes.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say about Zora as her teacher and helping her with Braille mostly, right, Zora? Right? We did do contractions like she said, but I just want to say how just adorable she was in the school and how I enjoyed every moment of helping her with Braille. Right, Zora? We did a lot of things together, and I can tell you, Zora, that when she started with the Braille, I saw how it was, and when we worked together, her Braille was impeccable when we were done. So I just want to say, honey, that you are doing a wonderful job. You're very intelligent, and I know that you're going to be a wonderful and great success in the future. Okay, thank you so much.
Rosa got done. I said, can I have a hug? I go right in line. Sure, right past me. Let's have I'm going to move Connor to this afternoon, and I kind of gave an overview of V, but people can go this afternoon too. So, hey, let's do it. It's about 12 o'clock, I think. And what does 12 o'clock mean? Lunch. And what time do we need to be back here? 1:45, we start promptly. Yes, please be back here. We're going to do it right now. We had. Now, before we do that, banquet exchange is in the back of the room, so people have a ticket for a meal. You want to sit down? And turn your ticket in for a table assignment. And you're going to be back there how long, Linda? How long? 12 to 12:30? We got on streaming too. There you go. 12:05 will be back there. Right, you should have a chance to do. So this afternoon, we're back here. Big agenda this afternoon. Let's have a door prize.
We want a door prize.
Hold that door prize. And add something to it. Cash and carry lunch is over by the cash and carry area, which is next to the cash and carry area. But we'll have a fucking sign out there. The cash and carry lunch for $15. You get a nice sandwich, all over stuff. The restaurant is open, so on and so forth. We got let's do. Someone said they want to do an auction prize. Is that true? Let's do a quick auction. We'll do an auction while they're getting a big door prize ready. Make it worth like $100 or so. You need any gift cards?
Yeah.
Hey, in my pocket, if we get a lot of money for this next auction prize, we're going to add to the door prize that they're doing a $50